Lesson 15 homework. First part. For each sequence, state if it is arithmetic, geometric, or neither. Remember, if it's arithmetic, we have a common difference, which means subtraction. And if it's geometric, we have a common ratio, which is division. Okay, so let's take a look at problem 1. Here's my sequence, 4, and then 7 over 2, 3, and then 5 over 2, and then 2. We're going to first check for the common difference, and we're going to start with subtraction. So 7 over 2 minus 4. And we're subtracting the first term from our second term. So we go to our calculator. Let's get a fraction. You press alpha y equals 7 over 2 minus 4. And we get that that's equal to negative 0.5. Okay, the next thing we want to do is subtract our next two terms, which is going to be 3 and 7/2. So we take 3 minus 7 over 2, and let's see what we get. So 3 minus, and then alpha y equals, hey, I messed up. You do alpha y equals, and you do 7 over 2. And you get negative 0.5. So actually, since we are going to be subtracting by the same thing every single time, this tells me this is an arithmetic sequence. All right, let's check this next problem. Let's do number 2. So first we're going to do the subtraction again. So negative 24 minus 4. Remember, always the second term and then subtract the first term. Negative 24 minus 4, we get negative 28. And then we're going to do 144 minus negative 24. And let's see what that gets us. 144 minus negative 24. 144 minus negative 24. That gives you 168. And that's not a common difference. So this one's definitely not arithmetic. We're going to check if it's geometric now by taking the second term, negative 24, and dividing it by the first term. Negative 24 divided by 4, and we get negative 6. Again, I'm not doing any of the math. I'm just using my calculator. And then we take our third term, 144, and you divide by your second term. 144 divided by negative 24. And we get negative 6. So we end up, when we divide, we get the same answer every single time. So this must be geometric. Okay. Next question. It says find the common ratio and then the term name of the problem and the explicit formula. So they give you 16, 8, 4, 2. To find my common ratio, you're going to take your second term and divide it by your first term. So we do 8 divided by 16 is 0.5. That is your common ratio. And again, you can refer to your reference sheet for your geometric formula. But if you, let's go look at it. Take a look at your reference sheet. The geometric sequence formula, AN equals to A1 times R to the n minus 1. So let's copy that over here so we can just use it. AN equals to A1 times R to the n minus 1 power. Well, I just found my R. My R is equal to 0.5. My A1, which is my first term, is equal to 16. So now all I need to do is plug it into this formula. It's going to end up looking like this. AN equals to 16 times 0.5 to the n minus 1. That is your formula. And now if I want to find A10 equals to 16 times 0.5 to the 10 minus 1. And you're just going to enter it exactly like that into your calculator. So we have 16 times 0.5. So 0.5. and then to the 10 minus 1. 10 minus 1. Notice that your 10 and a 1 are both in your exponent. Hit enter and I get 0.03125. So your 10th term is going to be 0.03125. Number 9, given the explicit formula for a geometric sequence, find the common ratio and the term named in the problem. Well, if you look at your formula, your common ratio is always going to be the one with the exponent. So over here in problem number 9, the one with the exponent is the 2. So our common ratio is going to be 2. And now to find the 11th term, all we do is plug 11 into wherever n is. And we're going to put that into our calculator. So the 11th term is equal to 2.5 times 2 to the 11 minus 1. 2 to the 11 minus 1. And we get 2,560. So our 11th term is 2,560. Go ahead and finish these other problems by yourself.